Inaugural video, YouTube. What are we doing? Gonna press some skateboards. Got some things here. We've got wood, 14 sheets, indexed prior to recording this video, into face sheets, core sheets, cross grains, core sheets, cross grains, core sheets, face sheets. Got two sets here because my mold is offset for two boards. So I'm going to be pressing two boards today. Get some glue. I've got more in hand. I need a way of applying the glue. Nice handy roller. I've also got some tape set up on this chair. Stool even. Yeah, everything's pretty much good to go. The press is set up. I'll show you my press momentarily. Or now, actually. Let's do it. Alright, so this is my press. Dual ball jacks. Handy handle. Heavy gauge steel, two ball jacks. Big frame, moving bed. And then in here we have a MDF CNC mold with a bunch of spaces. Spaces are for if I ever want to put a bigger mold in. Currently, as I'm set up for pressing, inside the press I have a layer thin plastic. Take this on at the end here so it doesn't wiggle around too much when the pressure is applied. But that's pretty much how I'm setting things up for this pressing. I've got wax paper ready up top and then another layer of this plastic just on the top side. Just keep everything from getting glued inside the mold when I want to release stuff. So that is my press. The long and short of it, as it were. Okay, so let's glue up some veneers. Get them into the press. I'm not going to get into too much details today about the wood, setup, the tools, the glue. I'm just going to press boards. Here's my veneers. I've got 14 of them. And I've got a little dividing piece of tape to tell me when I'm at 7 in case I get confused and miscount. I like to glue up the bottoms first, put them in the press the way they come up as I glue them. First face sheet, nice as blue. First core sheet. Cross bands, these are a little thinner, 1/22. Core sheets are 1/16 inch. Another core sheet, yellow. Crossband, core sheet, face sheet, a bit nicer. And then I've got the same again, some different colours in there. We're going to do two boards. Let's get going. Keep my glue roller down here. Easy to reach. I like to mark these face sheets. If you can see a little circle there. So I've chosen my insides and outsides. It's easy for me to know which side's going to be in and out when I glue it. I also like to index these in a way that if there's a little curve, very slight curve, then they oppose each other, rather than always being together. So those natural bows in the woods work against each other rather than together and twist the board eventually. I find that if there's a natural twist like that, and if they're opposed, then the boards warp less, which is always what you want. Anyway, let's go. I like to apply a nice thick coat, try and get it even. I want my glue to be thick enough that I can't see wood, not so thick that if I was to hold it up it would run. Let's keep going. glue spreader is kind of nice because it's got the ability to let it glue pass onto the roller in its current state, and then I can just pull up this lever, it locks the roller out. It gives me some time to spread it around. I like to line these up as best I can as I'm laying things up here. Sometimes when the pressure gets hit on these, things can move around. It's best for things to be straight and aligned as much as possible. There's a nice little Easter egg for you. Whiskers from Bruce, the original Black Cat. Put one in every skateboard. Brings a nice element of luck to things. Oh no, the other way around. It's my last core sheet. This will be at the top of the skateboard. Top side, not the very top of the skateboard. All right, looking pretty good there. Got a little bit more glue than I would like on that top sheet, but I'll sand that off eventually. That's when my tape comes into play. I just tape my four corners here, just to keep the veneers well behaved while they're waiting for the pressure to be applied in the mold. So I've got to glue up one more. Tuck this one aside for a moment. Alright, let's get into number two. This time we've got a nice deep blue face sheet that's going on the bottom of the board. Let's check this camera's still working. Is this microphone working? I don't know. Never used it before. Anyway, these dark blue sheets are really nice examples of how much glue I like on a board. You can see here. Nice coverage, it's thick, not going to run. Should provide a good bond. Of course, time for a whisker. I collect these from my cat's favourite spots. It's all humane. Full hopper in this, pretty much does two boards. Some tape to this again. Got a couple of extras for this one. Might as well throw them in the middle. Time to get these boards in the press. So, I've already got a plastic sheet on there. I'm going to pop the board I just glued up in here. I'm going to look at my layering here. Make sure my sheets are sitting evenly over the mold so that my center line, when it comes out, is as close to center as possible. Go that way a little bit. That's looking pretty good. Next up, we have wax paper. Wax paper goes in, stop the two boards getting stuck together. Makes sense, right? This one's a bit of a reuse sheet, but I find you can reuse wax paper here and there. Here's the board we pressed up first. Going in. Try not to move my wax paper too much. Get that aligned neatly. I don't think it's budging around in here. Looking pretty good. Check the other side too. Ooh, I've got some wax paper out of line. Back here. There we go. Try to be quick at this point, but I'd rather take an extra minute. Make sure these are good, rather than rush it and get it messed up. So work quickly, but not rushed. Looking good. All right. Next up, we're going to make sure we remember to put our other second plastic on top. There's press time. All right, this is my favorite bit. You start to see them come into shape as the pressure is applied. Okay, so they're in shape, got pressure, but we're going to keep going for some time. Okay, pretty much textbook pressing. Everything went smooth. Board's looking good in there. Getting some glue, squeeze out. I'll try and show you. I'm on the back side of the press here. As you can see, getting a bit of glue run out. So, not too much, a little bit more than usual. I think it's because the plastic layer is right on the edge of the mold here, whereas on the other side, my plastic layer is sticking out a little further than usual, so I'm not getting the run out in as many spots, but it is sitting there. Sometimes I'll just give that a little wipe up so it's not sitting on the wood for too long. But yeah, boards in the press. We'll come back and release them in about 36 hours. Okay, the time has come to open this thing up. Boards have been in for a couple of days. A lot of the glue on the sides has gone off. So let's see if we can get this thing open. Just got to release some of these little valves at the bottom of the jacks here. Okay, so for me it's very important at this time to not touch the boards inside the mold, because I've got to mark up my center lines to where they were pressed. So first I'm just going to carefully take off this top plastic sheet. My mold has got these handy CNC'd center lines added to the side, which you probably can't see, but I'll grab a pencil and mark my center line. Center on the bottom one, center on the top one. I also like to write in here the pressing number and the stack number 1 versus 2, because the stack denominates how much concave the board has, just a little bit. And I mark the nose and tail on these boards because the mold has a nose and tail. In this case, we've got a 21-degree kick on the nose, 19-degree angle on the tail. Next, I need to mark my center line from top to bottom. As you can see, my mold is pretty tight, so I can't get in and see where these lines are on the end. And for that reason, I have made a little jig. Very crude, but gets the job done really well. So this is just 2 pieces of like 1 by 2 or half by 1, whatever, and they're measured out, nose and tail, so that when I line them up in the press on top of the boards, I can just see where the ends of the wood are, nose and tail, to mark my center line. So I do this from the back side of the press. Right, so with that in place, I simply add a line on the nose, a line on the tail, touching those ends of those 2 pieces of wood, so I know where my center lines are. Then it's time to take them out. It should come out pretty easily. Currently only the top board is marked here, so I keep the 2 together so that I can add those markings from the top of my center lines onto the lower board. Alright, so carefully moving these around, add my center line from the nose of the top stack. I'm going to add that to the bottom. Center line on the nose. My center line on the tail. Already added the 2 middle lines, top and bottom boards. So now I can take them apart. Wax paper makes for a pretty easy release. There's one. Take this wax paper off carefully in case I can use it again. Put my stack 1 nose marking on there, and I'm just going to clean up these nose tail marks by adding them in a boulder. And there you have it. 2 fresh boards out of the press. These are going to sit a couple weeks now till they're ready to cut.